Hey everyone, welcome to Car Review. Today we're going to do a no spoiler review of the movie Apocalypse Now. So let's get into it. So, Apocalypse Now is this giant epic war movie directed by Francis Ford Coppola, and it essentially tells the story of a US colonel who has gone rogue during the Vietnam War, and the US military sends in soldiers to find and kill him. And I think that synopsis alone is very great, it's very intriguing, and had the movie stuck with that type of story for its entire runtime, I think I would have liked it a lot more than I do. But the movie does very distinctly get away from the overall mission and the focus on war into the psychological tolls of war and how we view war and the mental state of its characters. And for some people, that will really work. Again, this movie has stood the test of time, I think, because of its portrayal of war and how we view war and how we're supposed to look at war. But for me, the change was so sharp that it lost me. And depending on which cut of the movie you watch, it can feel really long. For me, I watched the extended cut of the movie, which is over 3 hours, and for me, the movie felt like it was an hour too long. Because for the first 2 hours, you are set up and you're following these characters essentially through uh, the Vietnam version of Saving Private Ryan, with how brutal and honest and visceral the combat is. And then in that last hour, you get more into waters that are like Temple of Doom. You get into this psychological mental examination of war and the toll it takes on our characters, which for some people will work, but for me it didn't, because I thought I was watching one thing and then it shifts completely into the other. And there are seeds laid throughout the movie that cement that this is not your typical run of the mill war movie, but I don't know, there's something about it for me where I liked it but I didn't love it. And at the point at which it shifts, again, for me, it was around the 2 hour mark. It felt like I was traveling along at 60 miles an hour, and now I'm going down to 10. That stop was so, distinct that it pulled me out of it. It made it less entertaining. Is the movie entertaining? Yes, it is. But there is a very unique point at which the movie for me dips in terms of quality. I mean, it literally slows down. It becomes, if it feels longer, it's literally quiet. There's not as much dialogue, and not as much happens as opposed to the last 2 hours. And I think it does become weird, and it becomes more psychedelic, and you feel like you're taking hallucinogens for this, because it becomes something entirely different. And maybe that's what they were going for, but to have the movie become something so different than what it was before, I think will lose viewers, and it at least lost me. Is it good? Yeah, but I don't think it's that great. Even though the first 2 hours I consider to be great, the overall payoff, the overall ending, once you reach that destination, you don't really know how to feel. And again, maybe that's what they were going for. Maybe that's why the movie is so good, because you don't leave completely satisfied. You don't leave like America, like hoorah. Because from what you might know, the Vietnam War, America was not, essentially the good guys. We did invade, and this movie does a great job of portraying the U.S. military as being full of these arrogant, self-righteous soldiers who just don't have any human decency. They don't care, you know, whether or not they kill the enemy or they kill civilians. They're on vacation essentially. And I think that's great. That's fun to watch. But then after it's done, you don't really know how to feel. And so, if you're looking for a great war movie, I would say, look for something else. But if you want, something full of a lot of commentary, a lot of metaphors, a lot of messages, you know, surrounded in the bubble of war, sure. But, ultimately it's weird and it's different. And I think it will be a little too weird to be really fully understood and appreciated by the wide audiences. But Maybe it works for you, but for me, I thought it ultimately, had a great takeoff, did not stick the landing though. So that is my review of Apocalypse Now. If you like this video, comment, share, like, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. All right, peace.